So this is the news a couple of weeks ago. I think it was early November. The Ethiopian government and the Tigrayan armed forces, the rebel forces in the north of Ethiopia, agreed to a peace treaty or at least a peace deal. They've been fighting for about 2 years in a civil war in Ethiopia, which has been incredibly deadly. So it's good news. And it was signed after about a week of African Union-led negotiations. So what are your thoughts on that, Dmitry?
So I'm going to give myself 60 seconds as promised.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that really jumped out at me about this story, apart from I can't believe we have good news to report, I don't know how to process that, but it's the role of the African Union here as offering both good officers, which is a diplomatic term for where you provide a space where the two sides can meet and be supported in reaching a diplomatic conclusion, but also in stepping up to leadership on the continent. It's been something the AU has been doing more and more and more. And I think having those solutions come from the African Union, meaning they hold, but even sort of temporary wins are good wins, is a fantastically positive step for the region. It puts leadership where it belongs, which is in neighboring countries, and it decreases the pressure on the UN.
You nailed it.
Nailed it. 60
Well
seconds.
I just lost a lot of money on some bets.
All right. You think you're so good? Do you want to have a go? 60 seconds?
Sure. I mean, all of what you just said is bang on, but I think whenever I see, particularly with a 2-year civil war ending quite abruptly, and it was quite a surprise. I think most people who were watching this didn't expect something to come through so quickly. So that always makes me go, why? What happened? And I think if you dig into the deal and you sort of read around it, it's pretty clear that the Tigrayan forces were at the end of their leash, as it were. They'd run out of supplies. The humanitarian situation in the north of the country is a disaster. So while I think this is being pitched as a meeting of equals coming to a peace agreement, it was much more of the Ethiopian government winning, unfortunately, through attrition, stalemate, and the kind of understanding that the humanitarian situation was out of control. Going forward, I think Ethiopia is going to absorb Tigray back into the country, but give it some concessions politically.